Hello YouTube, this is Ian here, and we're going to be working with Windows Server 2008. On the screen I have a couple tasks that we're going to be performing to Server 1. We're going to create a folder share, we're going to test the share access, and we're going to protect the file using NTFS permissions. Now first of all, what you're going to want to do is you're going to create a folder that's going to be shared across the network. So in order to do that, you can use Windows Explorer to navigate to your computer. Go ahead and drop that down, and then you can go to your local disk C. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a folder on the hard drive that will be shared across the network. I have already done this and I have named mine accounting. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up accounting, and in the accounting folder I have a rich text file. In the rich text file I've named it budget. All that's in it is simple text just to prove the verification of the file across the network. So once you've created your file and the file inside the folder, what you're going to want to do is you're going to right click accounting and you're going to go to properties. Now that you've got to this window, the accounting properties window, what you'll go to do is you're going to go to sharing, you're going to go to the advanced sharing, you're going to make sure that the share this folder box has been checked. Now you're going to rename the share name spreadsheets. I have already done so. And you're going to go to permissions. Now, on the everyone users, you can go ahead and clear out all the allow boxes. I have already done so. Now we're going to add two groups that will have certain permissions for this folder. The first one's going to be domain admins. So we're going to key in domain admins, and once you click OK, it'll prompt you for an administrative username and password. We'll go ahead and type that in real quick. So now that you've typed in the password, it's created the group that will have certain permissions. Now for the domain admins, we're going to give them full control to this file. Click full control next to allow, and then we're going to click OK. Next we're going to create the domain users group. So we'll go back to permissions, we're going to click add again, and we're going to type in domain users. Now again, like last time, it'll prompt you for the administrative username and password. Go ahead and type that in again. And it has created that group also. Now the only difference is on the domain users, we're going to allow them to only read the file, not be able to change or have full control of it. So you'll go down to the bottom and you'll click the checkbox that has allow read. Going to click OK. Now in doing this, you've successfully created a folder share that can be shared across the network. Now for the next step, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and close out of all these windows. Alright, so next what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a new user and a new group that is going to be accessing this file with special permissions. Now in order to do this, what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to click Start, go to Administrative Tools, and Active Directory Users and Computers. Once you have done that, you should find the Contoso domain. If you cannot find that, a lot of times what it is it doesn't recall the directory. So in order to do that, just change domain, type in contoso.com, hit enter, and it should find Contoso domain. Once you have your domain, you'll double click it, and under users we're wanting to create a new user, so we will right click, go to new, and click new user. We'll give it a simple name, user01, a simple login name, click next, we will give it a password, and we will change the password limitations. We will put password never expires. It gives you a warning, that's okay, go ahead and click next, and it tells you the information about the user you just created. So now that we've created a user, we're going to want to create a new group. In order to do that, we will do it the same way like creating a new user, only instead of clicking new and user, we will go ahead and click group. We're going to type group 01. We're going to leave the default settings, and it creates your new group. Now with the new user, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put that new user in the group we just created. In order to do that, we'll double click users and we will find the user we just created, which in this case is this one. We will right click, select properties, and under the member of tab, what we're going to want to do is we're going to add a member. We're going to type in group 1 and click OK. It's going to prompt you for an administrative username and password. Go ahead and type those in real quick. Then it adds you a member of group 01. Go ahead and click OK. So what we're going to do next is we're going to log into another computer into the user 01 account we just created, and we're going to test the permissions. So I have navigated to the second computer, and as you can see by reading at the top here, I have successfully logged into the user account we created. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to verify that the permissions we've set for this user are indeed correct. Now in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to open up Network, and we'll get a yellow bar at the top that says Network Discovery is turned off. We're going to want to go ahead and turn that on to allow file sharing. It's going to ask you for a username and password again. Only this time we will type in Contoso and then administrator. And then we'll type in the password. And now once this loads, it shows you the server 02. Now what we're wanting to do is access the files that are on server 01. Since it's not finding it, we're going to issue a simple run command in order to find it. Go ahead and hit backslash twice and type in server 01. Now it finds it. Now you remember the document that we renamed spreadsheets earlier? Here it is. And there's the budget file that we created earlier. Now we're going to go ahead and open up the file that we shared earlier. Now we're going to try to edit it and save it. Let's try to remove some of the text, and we're going to go ahead and save that. Notice how it doesn't let you save it. This is because of the permissions we specified earlier. The users are not allowed to modify the document. Well, that's fine. We'll go ahead and exit out of it. And let's try to delete it. Notice how it doesn't give us permission to delete this file due to the permissions we set earlier. So let's try to switch user computers, and let's try to edit the document on the other side of the network. To do that, we'll go ahead and switch computers. Okay, so I'm back on my computer, and I'm going to try to access the spreadsheets budget again. What we're going to do is go ahead and go to Windows Explorer. We're going to go back to the computer, and we're going to open up disk drive C, where accounting is located, and we're going to open up the budget. Now let's try to edit some of it and save it. Notice how it lets us save it this time. Okay, now that we can save it, let's try to delete it. Notice how it allows us to delete the file. In doing this, we have successfully tested the share access of the folder. With certain permissions, some of the users were allowed to access the folder and read it but not make changes, when another user on another computer can change the document and can modify or delete it if they want to. Okay, so next what we're going to be doing is we're going to protect the file that we created earlier called accounting. We're going to protect it using NTFS permissions. Now first to do that, we're going to navigate to the security tab of the options on the folder. going to right click, go to properties. You're going to go to security. You're going to click edit, and we're going to edit a new group. And we're going to add a new group with full control. We're going to name it group 1. And next to the full control, we're going to check the checkbox. However, it first asks you for a prompt. You can go ahead and enter the username of the administrator and the password. Then you're going to click full control, click OK, and that has given group 1 full control over the file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and test that out by, I'm going to switch to the partner computer, which is computer 2, and I'm going to try to access the file using the user 01 account. I am now on the second computer under the user 01 account, as you see here. I'm now going to try to navigate through the network and try to edit and make changes to the document. It'll be on server 01. We're going to go to spreadsheets. We're going to open up budget. Let's try to make changes. Let's try to save it. Notice how it doesn't let us save the file. Okay, well let's try to delete it. Right click, delete. Notice how it won't let us delete this either. This is because that although NTFS permissions allow the group 01, which is what I'm on, user 01, which is in group 01, full control, the share access only allows user 01 to read. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to hop on computer 1 using the user 01 account, and I'm going to try to edit the file off that computer. Okay, as you see now, I am on computer 1 and I am under the user 1 account. I'm going to try to make changes to that same document we made earlier. I'm going to open up budget. Now let's try to make changes. Let's see if it allows us to save and delete. It allows us to save. Now let's try to delete the document. Notice how it allows us to delete the document. This is because although share access control only allows user 01 read permission, computer 1 is part of the domain admins, which have full control over all the files. So now I'm going to hop off the user 01 account. I'm going to go back to the student profile. As you can see here, I'm on the administrator account on computer 1, also known as the student account for me. What we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the folder that we created earlier named accounting. We're going to go to the sharing and advanced sharing tabs, which right here is sharing, and then you go to advanced sharing. We're going to click the permissions box, and then we are going to add the group 01 to the shared permissions. It's going to ask you for, again, for administrator username. Go ahead and type that in real quick. And now we're going to click Allow Change Share for the group 01. And we're going to click OK. And now I'm going to hop to my partner server, and we're going to see how the changes we just made affected how the permissions work. Okay, now as you see, I am back on user 01 on this server 02, also known as computer 02. We're going to try to navigate back to that document and see how the permissions we just changed affected how it works now. And now let's see if it'll let us delete the document. As again it does. This is because when we granted the document to allow change permission to the group 01, it enabled the user 01 account to read and modify the budget file. And that is a little demonstration on how NTFS permissions work on folders and files. This concludes Lab 2. Thank you for watching.